Paul Robeson House of Princeton proudly celebrates the life and legacy of Paul Robeson with the first scholar conversation between Robeson Scholar activist Jealyn Vega-Ramos and lifelong New Jersey educator Susie Wilson. The state of sex education in 2022 is one that bridges generational conversations about gender, justice, and quality of life in unimaginable ways. Rules for sex ed vary widely across our nation in private and public schools. According to Kaiser Health News reporting in 2019, only 13 states with sex ed programs required information to be medically accurate. Thankfully, New Jersey is on the list of both mandatory sex ed programs and medically accurate information, no doubt in part because of the efforts and lifelong work of Susie Wilson. The line connecting sex ed and menstruation education is clear. Thus, our conversation today. Let's listen in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jealyn Vega-Ramos. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a PHS student, class of 2023. And my focus is on menstrual education, and my project is called Menstruation, a Beautiful Process, period. Hi, Susie. So to begin our conversation today, one of the questions that I had for you was, what have been some of the limitations or setbacks that you have encountered while advocating for an accurate sexuality education in the public schools?
Well, it's very nice to be here, and I'm happy to answer all your questions, Jealyn, and congratulations on being named this prestigious award. Well, I tell people when you're working in a controversial field or a field that people aren't very comfortable with, you take one step forward and two steps back. And I sort of feel that's the way, but occasionally you take only two steps forward and one step back. And you have to be very pleased with with your success and not beat yourself up about the fact that you're not getting everything you want. We had one real failure while I was involved in this issue for about 25 years, maybe even longer. And I'll be glad to explain it to you if you'd like me to. It has to do with early sex education for kindergarten through third grade, which we weren't able to do because of real pushback about that.
Thank you for sharing. That's actually really interesting because I feel like starting now through my journey, I have encountered some of those experiences too. So it's really okay. My next question for you is, what experience or experiences have led you to want to advocate for this specific change and issue?
Well, I always say that the issue found me. I didn't find the issue. And it happened because I wasn't afraid of asking a question. And that, I think, is very important. I was a member of the State Board of Education, and the Commissioner of Health came to give an annual report to the board in which she said she was concerned about the high rates of teen pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease among students in New Jersey. There were 13 of us around that table, and I was the only person to ask a question of her. And that question changed my life.
Thank you. Okay. I have a very, this conversation, it kind of leads to my next point. I don't know if you know, but I am a Teen PEP leader. And if you don't know what Teen PEP stands for, it's a teen prevention education program. And through this program, I have been trained in leadership and sexuality issues. And I was actually the first Latina leader to present and offer a bilingual workshop for our students. And so my question to you is, what advice would you give other Teen PEP leaders who are in the process of speaking out about like sexuality issues?
Well, I just think it's wonderful that you're doing this work, and I commend you highly for it. And I think you ought to just keep on doing what you're doing and encouraging more and more people to talk about this issue. It's when we talk about it that it demystifies it, and some of the controversy about it goes away. But if we don't talk about it and have people like you training others to talk about it, particularly teens themselves, we don't make adequate progress. So I think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. And then my last question, was there a time when you ever felt like giving up or even just questioning your ability to continue like advocating for this passion? And what would you tell yourself to like overcome that?
Well, I sometimes say that probably every day I said to myself, what are you doing? There's so many other easier issues to get involved in. But when I talk to teenagers, they always encourage me to go forward, go on. And I did that. I just want you to know that I lost my seat on the State Board of Education as a result of my leadership of this issue. I never regretted that. A lot of people aren't willing to fight for what they want because they're so afraid of the consequences. You see that every day in politicians. They're afraid of taking a stand because they think it's going to be the end of their careers. I didn't have that conflict. I just kept going forward because I knew that young people wanted this information, needed this information. And in polls, parents of New Jersey students wanted the schools to do this work. So I just kept on going forward. And, you don't make all the progress you want, but you make enough to keep yourself, satisfied.
Well, I just want to thank you, Susie, for taking the time to have this conversation with me. I really appreciate it, and it was so nice meeting you.
For more information, please feel free to explore links provided to accompany this conversation. The Paul Robeson House of Princeton Program Committee would like to thank Susie Wilson, Jealyn Vega-Ramos, and all of our supporters this year. Paul Robeson once said, "Get them to sing your song, and they will want to know who you are. Keep singing."